Hey everyone, what's going on? This is the Deets. The incredible hype surrounding the upcoming installment Resident Evil Requiem, my personal hands-on experience with it, and all the recently released trailers and images, it's wild. Capcom is still clearly hiding so much about this title. Everything we've seen and played is just the tip of the iceberg. We do know the story centers on the journalist Grace, whose mother is the series veteran Alyssa Ashcroft. Events are primarily set in a post-destruction Raccoon City, and the trailers tease new characters and formidable creatures. But, as I said, there's still plenty more to uncover. With the game just months away, a few key things came to my mind. I'm going to share them with you in this video, hoping Capcom actually implements them. So if someone asks you, what are the biggest things you're hoping to see in Resident Evil Requiem? We need to hear your thoughts. That's why I'm listing 10 key things I desperately want in the game. Watch this segment and then let me know if you agree on any of these points or if you have your own must-have features, whether it's on the technical side, the story, or the core gameplay. I hope you enjoy this video and please share your feedback. Let's dive right in. Open world exploration. My number one wish is a sense of true openness in this installment. I'm really hoping the game features an open world structure. Even if that proves too ambitious, I hope we get significant freedom in large, expansive areas, more so than the scale we saw in Village or even the recent Resident Evil 4 remake. Those were linear games, but they had semi-open sections. But I genuinely want Requiem to feel like a true open world, or at least a powerful approximation of one. An open world fundamentally offers better player agency and exploration. It prevents you from feeling restricted to a single linear path. You can backtrack, discover secrets, and fully explore. I would definitely welcome the game being open world, though we've heard conflicting rumors about that. So that's point number one. True gameplay variety. It's clear the game will deliver a psychological horror and survival experience, especially based on my own trial. However, I think the game will feature different experiences that lean heavily into action, possibly involving Leon or other characters. So, my wish is for the game to give us significant variety in gameplay, balancing psychological horror and pure action. And honestly, I want to see something entirely new. I know it's vague, but I want a truly distinct experience beyond just action and horror. Even if the game features stealth and action, I'm greedy. I want horror, maybe even some unexpected comedy or bizarre elements. Essentially, I want something that completely breaks the routine, where Capcom surprises us with a playstyle unlike anything in the previous installments. Original, challenging puzzles. We know the Resident Evil series historically had creative puzzles. Puzzles known for their incredible design, thoughtful concept, and serious difficulty that made you think hard. Some players back in the day would genuinely give up and look up solutions outside the game, because recently puzzles in Resident Evil installments have felt secondary or just plain simple. You solve them without truly engaging your brain, and it's mostly simple busy work like collecting small pieces to plug into a spot. I sincerely hope we get a creative puzzle experience with original concepts that feature a legitimate challenge. We need that feeling of real achievement and the sense of authenticity that reminds us of the older games where the puzzles made us sweat. Return of iconic characters. Undoubtedly, Capcom would never let a new Resident Evil installment pass us without a surprise appearance from a major character. Even in the 7th game, we got Chris, although he looked different. We accepted it, and he was later refined in the 8th installment, Village. Chris is there. My point is, for Requiem, I want to see genuinely surprising appearances from iconic characters. Let's exclude Leon, who is obviously going to be present. I'd love to see forgotten Resident Evil characters like Rebecca or Billy or Carlos or even Sheva from the 5th game. I wouldn't even mind Claire or even Wesker or even Jill. I have no problem. What I want is for the iconic characters to return and imagine their integration into the story and the shock factor. That would truly be exciting and fantastic fan service for the loyal fans, connecting the narrative to the original story roots. I believe the return to Raccoon City in Requiem doesn't automatically guarantee a link to the core lore. It might just be a marketing move, or just to generate extra hype for being in Raccoon City. So the story could be entirely self-contained, and we might see zero connection, which I hope doesn't happen. And if they do link it, I don't want to see the kind of narrative fabrication or retconning we saw in the 8th installment. Since the events are back in Raccoon City, I hope the connection to the original deep lore is handled correctly. I want to see links to the old unresolved issues and facts about Raccoon City that we haven't seen before. This installment is a golden opportunity for Capcom to restore the essence of the original series, not just let us roam around Raccoon City, Focus on realism, less exaggerated fantasy. Personally, I hope Requiem's story is free from excessive, over-the-top fantasy. I mean, I hope the events are purely linked to a virus or human experiments that affected people and turned them into zombie monsters. I have no problem with that. I don't want the story to veer into spirituality, imaginary elements, ghosts, madness, and Evelyn-like concepts. Those elements belong in Silent Hill, which suits them better. Resident Evil, despite its monsters and fantasy, should keep them man-made. You know those classic stories, a lab, a virus, and the resulting chaos. I want the core of the story, or the limit of its fantasy, to be at that level. I truly hope this 9th installment calms down a bit and focuses on the horror classics within the Resident Evil story. Better technical level and realism. I hope that the technical level in this upcoming installment is elevated even beyond the last couple of games, the 8th and the Resident Evil 4 remake. I actually consider those a downgrade compared to the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, where the physics were truly competitive with games from Rockstar or even Naughty Dog in The Last of Us. When you shot a zombie, you saw the fantastic gore and the physical movement. But the latest installments felt like the physics weren't perfected and had noticeable flaws and issues. Therefore, I hope Resident Evil Requiem offers a high-level technical physics which will ultimately reflect on the player's experience, making them enjoy the graphics and physics more. I personally played the demo and was running away from the monster, but the physics weren't clearly impressive to me. I truly hope it offers something even better than the 2nd and 3rd remakes. Level of difficulty and challenge. We know that Resident Evil, generally speaking, is not an extremely difficult game. Even if you crank up the difficulty, you can often get used to the system and the gameplay, and it becomes quite manageable. Of course, this is compared to other games that offer genuinely challenging experiences. Therefore, I hope the Resident Evil Requiem installment offers a higher level of difficulty, more challenge, and more obstacles in the gameplay, so the player truly struggles and doesn't feel that the stages are easy and they just walk right through them. That struggle ultimately will translate into enjoyment. I hope there is more in the way of customization or new developments in the game's mechanics that make the experience genuinely harder in a rewarding way. I'm not talking about cheap tricks like fewer bullets and just buffing enemy health. No, I want something new in the game's mechanics that makes it challenging in a fun way, and a clear, rewarding obstacle. Extra challenges or online modes. As we saw in previous Resident Evil installments, specifically, Resident Evil 2, we had the Hank Challenge, the Escape Challenge, which involved tight timing, speed, high difficulty, intense music, and sheer tension. I played that challenge a million times because it was so much fun. I hope Resident Evil 9 has things after we finish it, challenges and similar experiences that aren't just filler. I want things connected to the story, featuring characters from different perspectives. Sure, the game might include the Mercenaries mode, which honestly I find boring, just fighting enemies, getting a score, and spinning weapons. I don't want that. I want a challenge linked to the story somehow, or even online confrontations with other players. Imagine fighting other players or chasing them. For example, playing as the monster while the other player runs away from you. Frankly, I hope the game offers genuinely compelling extra challenges and online components beyond just the single-player story. Multiple endings and extra scenes. Although Resident Evil historically had multiple endings, extra scenes, or secret scenes, the latest installments in the series lacked anything extra. It's usually one ending that everyone sees, and that's it. Even though a Resident Evil game is often completed multiple times, I hope the upcoming game has multiple endings. This way, even if you finish it once or twice, there's at least something new waiting for you that encourages you to play through it again. For example, if you didn't like one ending, you might like another. Therefore, I hope the game has multiple endings, or even extra scenes or secret scenes, not just one ending where you finish the game and put it on the shelf forever. Anyway, these are the things I hope to see in Resident Evil Requiem, the upcoming installment on February 27, 26. Let's quickly recap. I hope it features an open world or something similar, and I hope for variety in the playstyle itself. I also hope for difficult and innovative puzzles, the return of iconic characters, and a strong narrative link to the original series lore. I also hope for more realism than fantasy, a more advanced technical level, dedicated difficulty and challenge customization, and compelling extra content or online experiences. Finally, I hope it features multiple endings. Of course, I don't know how many of these things might come true, but we are hopeful. Now, I want to ask you, what are your hopes for Resident Evil Requiem? If you have something you wish to see or a change you disliked in the previous installments, write your opinion in the comments and let's get a discussion going. That's it for the video. I hope you liked it and enjoyed it, or that it gave you a good dose of hype for the upcoming game. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, share your thoughts, and send it to your friends. This was The Deets. Peace out.